Guys, welcome to the first of my series of videos looking at creating Revit families. We're going to create a basic cube today. So if you go into your Revit and you go to the left hand side here under families and click new, you should come up with a bunch of templates which you, depending on what family you're creating, you can select a template and it will help you create that specific type of family. Today we're going to start with metric generic family. It'll be an imperial one if you're working in imperial measurement. So if you click onto that and click open, you'll see some standard reference planes that have been created. They're already named, center and back, and they're also pinned as well, so they shouldn't move about. So what we're going to start by doing is adding in some custom ones of our own. So you just go up to reference plane and draw out a basic box shape. Don't worry too much about the dimensions of it yet. And what's good practice is to name these reference planes, not so much for the basic shape we're creating today, but as you do more and more complex shapes, you will need to keep track of what's what. So I'd always recommend adding in a name to the reference plane to help you keep track of it. And then what we're going to do is add in an equal reference dimension to that. So if you go up to the measurement here, line dimension, click the top, click the middle, click the bottom, and then click this EQ shape, and you'll see that moves those reference planes there. And the same again, click on the left, click on the center, and click on the right hand side, and then click equals. And then you'll see that help control and keep everything nicely constrained as we start going on further. So what we're going to do is next add in some dimensions to be able to control these reference planes. So this time if you click the left and click the right, you'll see it comes up with a dimension which you can kind of ignore for now, and then we're going to do the same here. So we've got those two in there. So if we click the dimension and go up to label, and we're going to call it width. We're not going to worry about the type yet for the type of parameter and instant, just ignore that for now. And it's grouped under dimensions already, so that's fine. And you'll see what it does is it preferences it with the name of the parameter there. So we've got one that controls that, and we need to put one on here that will control this one. So we'll call that, we've got one called length into there. We'll add one called length, add it into there. And then we've got those. And what we can start doing now, which is known as flex as a technical term, is start clicking those dimensions there, and you'll see that everything moves and everything's kept nice and concentric by these equal dimensions here. So we've got 1500 there, 1500 there, and I did that by going up to properties, entering a value into these sections here, make it 2 meters, 2 meters, and you'll see again everything's moved in relation to what we've put in. And we can start adding in some geometry now. So there's a bunch of different ones here, which today we'll just look at extrusion, which is kind of the foundation one really. Now you could draw this as 4 separate lines for the box shape, but we'll use the rectangle tool. And if you go up to that corner there where it goes pink, and then click down to the bottom right one to the other intersection. Now this is very, very important that you lock this dimension now. So we're locking the geometry to the reference planes we've created, and that'll make sure that the geometry moves with how we control the reference planes. So that's all clicked in. We go back up to the properties, and once again enter in a value 1500 by 1500, and you'll see the geometry's moved because it's constrained to the reference planes, and the parameters are controlling the reference planes, so everything's in sync. So if we go to a 3D view, you can see that we've got that shape, how it looks in 3D. Again, we'll go in there meter by meter by meter, and you'll see everything moves. Now one thing that we're missing at the moment is control for the height. So if we go back to create reference plane, and we'll call this one height. If you click on the geometry, you'll see these shape handles come up. And what you can do is you can snap that to that, lock it, and then we're going to create a parameter that's going to drive the height. So again, click on your standard one that's in there that's all pinned, click on the one that you've created, and we'll go up here and we'll create one called height. Again, it's preference in there and the height. And then what we can do, if we go back to a 3D view, and we've now got an extra one add in there called height, and if we make that a meter as well, that will move as well. And you can just go through, have a little bit of a play around with these. It doesn't have to be a square shape, it can be whatever you want. Enter different values in, and you can just test it to make sure that it's going to move how you want it to without going corrupt. So I think I'll leave it there today. We're going to add some more complexity to this family member as we go along. We could be able to add materials into it, we'll be able to cut some voids into it and make it into some quite elaborate things. But I just want to do an introductory video to start the series off. Thanks very much. Bye.